You know, in Utah, we have big families, so get the 16 family so you can fit everybody inside the trailer. So the truth about this trailer, why they call it the 16 family, is because you can fit your entire family of 16 people in it. Okay, we're just kidding. It's actually the XT16, and the XT stands for extreme terrain. The 16 is because the box is actually 16 feet. It's not because you can fit 16 people inside. The HR stands for the hard roof. Today, this is the full tour. I'm gonna be going through this trailer in detail. The Escape with Confidence is the motto of MDC, and it really matters because when you have an off-road trailer, you wanna be able to escape with confidence, get out into the wilderness, not breaking down. I feel so confident with MDC. That is something that you can feel confident about, is not having tons of issues. It's not to say you'll never have issues, because that's unrealistic. I don't care if you own a Toyota or a Honda, you still have issues. But MDC has really dialed in these trailers really, really good. So today, I'm gonna be walking you through this 16 family, talking about some of the specs, the actual entire length of the trailer. The box is just over 16 feet, but the entire length, and that's from the tire to the tip, is 22 foot 3 inches. The height is actually 10 feet, and that's gonna be from the ground to the very tippy top of anything on the roof. The box itself is 7 foot 3 inches. With the awning and some lights, it comes to about 7 foot 9 inches. So keep that in mind. Now, that's a little bit more narrow than a standard travel trailer made in America. The reason why MDC does this is because this is off-road, off-grid. Doesn't mean you have to go off-road, but it does track the tow vehicle much better than most trailers. Most trailers are going to be outside of your tow vehicle because they're going to be 8 to 8.5 feet. So this is going to do really well following your truck. It also allows you to tow with a smaller truck. MDC, they tow these with mid-size vehicles. I personally would recommend to something a little bit bigger, but this trailer is not super heavy. It actually comes in at 5,174 pounds. So that's relatively light for a trailer this size, and also built with the ruggedness and the quality that you're gonna see in this trailer. The GVWR is 6,173 pounds. So you have a good amount of cargo space in this unit. It is a single wheel. This is not a single axle because the MDCs do not have axles. They're independent control arm suspension. I'll get into some of this detail in a little bit, but I'm gonna walk you around to the front and talk about some other weights. The tongue weight, and this is a dry tongue weight, is 450 pounds, which is actually pretty superb. Something that I've noticed is the MDCs tow really well, and they're also balanced pretty good. Now up here in the front, I want to point out this hitch system. This is the Cruisemaster DO35. It articulates side to side and goes up and down. It actually tows really well, even on the highway. But when you get off-road, you want this to be able to move side to side, up and down, and articulate better. This right here is an Anderson plug, and this right here is a 7-pin connector. Now, this is the standard thing that you're gonna see in the United States. Generally, this is going to charge your batteries in the US. This unit does not actually charge your batteries, but it works your brakes, your lights, your flashers. This system is called an Anderson plug, and now this unit is set up with the Anderson DC to DC charger. And what that means is we can actually get a connection from your truck and plug this in so that you can charge your batteries while you're driving. Now, what's the difference? Why not just have it charge out for this? This is a very low amperage charge. You have 200 amps of lithium stock in this trailer. And if you're running a standard 7-pin, it's gonna take you a day or two to charge your batteries from dead to full. This potentially could put up to 50 amps into your 200 amps of battery, which means within 4 hours of driving, you could fully charge your battery. So do have solar on the roof, which is also always charging. Now this system, it doesn't come stock in most trucks in America. Here at ROA Off-Road in Utah, South Carolina, and Colorado, we can get this installed in your truck when you come to pick up your trailer. Something up here I want to point out is they have a handbrake. Now you actually have 12-inch drum brakes on this trailer, and this is an actual braking mechanism that allows you to pull the brake, pull this up, and brake your tires, opposed to having to put chocks or blocks or rocks behind your tire so it doesn't roll away. Of course, I always recommend putting some wheel chocks out regardless, just as an extra precaution, but this is a really cool system. Also up here, we have a spigot, so you're able to wash your hands if you're hooking up and it's really dirty. You're able to clean yourself up. One of the things that I want to point out as I go through this tour is MDC is a phenomenal company. They really care about the end users. And you know that because there's details of things that they do. Like they put lots of diagrams throughout the trailer that teach you how to operate your trailer. Now, in the United States, you may not know this, but most manufacturers don't actually have owner's manuals. And that might seem crazy because every car you buy has an owner's manual. A lot of times manufacturers will only give you manuals for the appliances, like a Truma. MDC actually creates owner's manuals for their trailers, but as well, in addition to their owner manuals, they put little things like this throughout the trailer to show you, hey, you know, this is how you do the operation. Look over here, we have propane. See, this talks about how closing your appliance valves before opening these cylinders. So what it's saying, before you open this propane, make sure you close the stoves and make sure the furnace is turned off. You don't want it to be open, like the stovetop, you don't want to open and gas oozing into the trailer. So it's just like little details. These are pretty common sense to trailer owners. Once you've owned a trailer for a while, you know these things. But as a first-time trailer owner, you might never know these types of things. So just little details that I really appreciate coming from MDC. Now, let's also talk about this. This is a Jockey wheel. So you actually are able to roll this trailer around. If you look up here, we have these handlebars and you can actually kind of move the trailer around if you're on a flat surface. Also, if you ever were to get stuck on a trail and you needed to turn around, you could potentially drop this down and move the trailer around on that wheel. Also, we have these massive recovery hooks. And my favorite thing about these is, you know, if I haven't worked out for a while, I can do my CrossFit right here because these things are massive. They also have a little spot where you can stow them on this clip. Everything on the trailer is rated properly. The bolts are torqued properly. That's really important. I'll talk about the frame in a second as well. Moving up here, these two items are designed for jerry cans. That's water or fuel. And right here you have your 2 propane tanks. These are 20 pounders. They come with the trailer. You could also potentially upgrade to a 30 pounder. Would be a little bit higher, but that would be okay. One thing I want to mention, here at ROA Off-Road, we do a lot of videos on our trailers, and generally our rule of thumb is educational videos. We want to educate the buyer so that they know more about the trailer and they can make a better buying decision without necessarily even seeing the trailer. Really what we try to do is give just value and information. I do want to kind of do a little quick sales, not pitch, but just want to tell you a little bit about the 16 family. This is a limited trailer. They are discontinuing this model in the United States. So there's not very many of these left. And once they're gone, they're gone. If you're looking at all the pricing, these ones seem like they're a little bit cheaper than anything else that you can get right now with MDC. And the reason is because they're getting discontinued and we're not going to be shipping more in. Now, MDC has been in business for 20 years and all the componentry, everything you see on this trailer is across all their lineup. So you're not going to have issues with like warranty or parts or anything like that. That's fine. But I'm just letting you know the floor plan wasn't as popular in the United States, and they have a new 17 family that they've released. So they have the 16 family, the 17 family, and a lot of people have liked the 17 more. So the 16 is going to get phased out. So if you want one of these, you probably need to act sooner than later. Like I said, I don't like doing sales pitches on these videos. Generally, they're very educational and I'm just telling you. But if you do want one of these trailers, I would say by the summer of 2025, they won't exist anymore for you to buy unless you get one secondhand. But there you have it. This is a 15-year anniversary. We also have an older model, a little bit cheaper than this one. And if some of the new models have bigger batteries or bigger solar arrays, we can add all of that to this trailer as well. So if you want that more upgraded solar or battery system, we can do that in the 16 family without any issues. There you have it. There's my sales pitch. That's probably like the first time I've ever done a sales pitch on a full tour, right? But I just think, once again, it's all about value. And I felt like if you really fell in love with this trailer and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy it next year, that wouldn't be a good value add for you. You wouldn't be able to. So let's talk a little bit about the tires and the rims on these trailers. They all have this mud terrain. This is a good ride. This is a tire that MDC's been using for over 40,000 of their units that they've sold into the Australian market, and they really like these. The tire size is actually a 265/75, and it has a 16-inch rim. The wheel studs on the trailers on all of the MDC lineup are 14 millimeter thick. A standard off-road trailer that you're going to see even in Australia and the US, you might see smaller studs, is around 12.5. So the studs are much larger and thicker than a standard trailer. And that's just really important because if you're off-roading, if you are hitting rugged terrains, you want thick wheel studs, you want larger wheel bearings. They do have the genuine Timken bearings. And this is MDC's proprietary Mega Hub system that they use. Larger gas shock than anything in the industry that we've ever seen. Also, you have 4 gas shocks with coil springs. You have that independent A-arm system. And the Mega Hub, what makes it so unique is they use a very large Timken bearing, and they're actually not on a tapered spindle. It's actually a parallel spindle, and you have dual bearings that go in. And this dual bearing system is just way more rugged. It's stronger and more robust, and it's going to allow you to, whether you're on the roads or off-roading, it's going to allow you to hit washboards and higher speeds and not have bearing failures. Obviously, there's still maintenance to be done annually on these systems, but generally, when you're looking at a wheel bearing system on regular trailers and pull them apart, they're much smaller, anywhere from 30 to 40% smaller, and they're on a tapered wheel spindle opposed to a parallel, and it's all the way through from the inside to the outside. So you have a much bigger, heavier duty suspension system overall. And then when you come down here, you look, once again, you have signage right here, tighten your wheel lug nuts. It just gives you information on what to do so you don't get yourself in trouble and have a failure. Everything is labeled there for you and your convenience to know what you're supposed to do. Now, another thing, talking about the ruggedness and the longevity of the trailer, is the actual frame. In Australia, they call it chassis or the chassis. That is what the trailer is built off. It's the foundation of the trailer, and it's so important that you have a good foundation. And MDC gives you a lifetime warranty. It's a hot dipped galvanized steel. Now, if you don't know what hot dip galvanization is, you can Google it and do some more research, but essentially they take it into a facility where they dip it in a hot molten bath of zinc, which adheres to the steel, and it allows that steel to last for potentially over 100 years in the harshest climates. If you're on the beach, you're driving down the freeway, all the signs, all the metal posts, they're going to be galvanized. And the reason why is because steel, the second it enters the atmosphere, when it's off the press, it starts to decompose. And with the galvanization process, it's much longer before you have any type of rust or decomposing. Now, moving above the frame is the floor. Now, generally in the United States, the standard floor is going to be plywood. It's funny, it's like, well, if you do a water crossing, that's going to get all waterlogged and rot and mold. But guess what? If you're driving down the freeway on a rainy day or a snowy day, all that water is going to splash up, and it's also going to rot it or mold or warp the whole floor, and you're eventually just going to deteriorate. Now, most people don't realize that, but the average RV only lasts 10 to 15 years. That's made in America. It usually ends up in a landfill. Manufacturers in the US understand that most people will trade in their new RV within 3 to 5 years. So most trailers in America are not made to last really that long, 10 to 15 years. Now, MDC is giving you a lifetime warranty on the chassis, but everything above that chassis also needs to be robust and strong and needs to hold up over time. So they actually use a composite material. It's all a polymer. So you have zero wood in the floor. So it doesn't matter where you're doing a river crossing or just driving down the freeway and it's raining and splashing up there, you're not going to get wood rot or molding, and your trailer's not going to just fall apart while sitting or driving down the road. Now, moving up above the floor, you have this diamond plating. This is actually a European design diamond plate. This is all aluminum. It's super strong. Inside and behind this diamond plating, you have an aluminum skeleton, and it is a full welded aluminum skeleton structure inside. So a lot of times manufacturers will spot weld, or they use wood and staples in the US. So this is all aluminum, and in between the studs you have foam board insulation. So you do have some insulation inside the walls. Above here, we have an aluminum composite material. There's no wood inside this skin. You have aluminum on the inside and on the exterior that's sandwiched together. It's just under 1/8 inch thick. So it is very rigid, it's very strong. When you hit on it, you can feel that it's very stiff and it's not going to buckle in. Most standard trailers are using a very thin plastic infused fiberglass. They call it an FRP, and it is thinner than your credit card. It's a laminated and it's just super cheap. You'll see it warp over time. You'll see it fade. Obviously, this is a much more superior product. The windows, these are a Eurovision, and it's a polycarbonate, and it's a dual pane window. That means you have some gases in the middle, so it is good for insulation and sound, but also polycarbonate is 200 times stronger than glass when it's the same diameter. So polycarbonate is what they use to do bulletproof windows, acrylic or polycarbonate, airplanes, yachts. This is definitely going to be much more superior than glass. And if, you know, a rock flies or a baseball, you're not going to have a shattered window because this is very strong. We've thrown baseballs at it, actually. One thing that I want to just point out back here is, like, look at the lighting. One of the things that I love about MDC specifically, a lot of the Australian design, they're really into lighting on the outside of the trailer. You'd be surprised. I've gotten trailers, huge fifth wheels trailers in the US that don't have any lights outside, maybe one or two, and then none inside their compartments. Look at this side. We have 3 lights out here. And then this right here is a little tray. I'll show you how that works really quick. Just grab the keys and open it up. So you can drop this down, and this just becomes a prep area, and you have your grab bar right here with a light as well. And then over here, we have an additional light, and then we have another light right here. This is something that MDC does so good, better than a lot of trailers I've ever seen on the market. They make all of their kitchens in-house, fabricate them and build them. You have, of course, a light right here with a little switch. You have a 12-volt outlet. You can plug something in. These trays and tracks, look how thick this is. This is over 1/8 inch. It almost looks like 1/4 inch thick track right here. It is massive. And then you come here, and this is bracketed right here, and you pull this up and out of the way, and then there's a lever you push, and this slides on out. These kitchens are just so beautiful. They're massive. And then things that I want to point out right here, there's a strap right here. So this strap actually holds the kitchen in place. So when you're off-roading, it's not going to be bouncing around. You have another one right here. Now, we've sold almost every Australian trailer like that's come to America. The only thing we haven't sold is Brooder, and we've talked with them about selling them. We've offered to sell them, but they didn't want to have their trailers with other Australian trailers. They didn't want to have it next to a Patriot, but we've sold Patriot. We currently sell Kimberly campers, and not a lot of them do, you know, rubber grommets, so you're not bouncing and scratching the thing. These tie downs that hold everything in place. MDC really has dialed these things in. Look at this. We have a piano hinge that holds this entire thing up. That's just really robust and strong. Piano hinges cost a lot more money too. This right here is a windshield for on a day like today. You need it. Pop this up. We have the Thetford cooktop. And this is one of the best cooktops I've ever used. What you see in the Black Series or the OBIs or the Conquerors are the 3-burner Dometics. Sometimes you get a 4-burner Dometic, and they are trash. Like the very first time I ever used the Dometics on the Black Series, I couldn't even cook eggs barely. And if it was windy, it would just blow out. The reason why is because this burner right here is 9,800 BTUs. These are 6,300 BTU. And so that's actually a lot of output. The Dometic ones that I'm talking about, the large one is 5,800. So their largest one is smaller than the small ones, and the small ones are 3,900 BTU. So the small ones are bigger than their big ones, and the big one is 3 times better than their smallest one. So it's just way more output. You can actually cook steaks on here, and then of course we have nice storage throughout, and everything is just so well done. It's just all this stainless steel. It just feels really high quality. And look at that. Did you see that? You got a soft close. What? And then those drop down. Of course, for you drunks out there, you got your bottle openers. You gotta have that. And then right here, once again, we have another clip. Just the detail. Look at this. I want to show you this. See these? These just pop in and out, right? And you might be like, what is that? Well, so let's pop it out and twist it. It holds it out. And same with this one. Now this guy is gonna come up, and over here, you're gonna grab this and twist it back, and it's gonna lock into a little slot, and then same with this side. So now it's wedged up pretty nicely. Now over here, you have these little levers, and this lever is gonna come out and twist, and it's gonna drop that down. And then same thing right here. And then now you have a nice sturdy dish rack. You could put your sponges. You could also put spices there while you're cooking. Of course, we do have a sink right here, and this does give you both hot and cold water, and your propane and water connections are right here next to the kitchen sink. And I already pointed out the light, but this is the nice thing is when you're using the trailer and you are cooking out here, you want a light near your kitchen. Now coming over here, I'm gonna point out this storage spot. These are vents right here, and this is designed where you could put an additional fridge in here. Of course, it has a fridge inside already, and the fridge is quite large, so you don't need to have a fridge. In here, you have your 12-volt and your Anderson plugs, so that does give you the ability to plug in multiple things in here. Once again, we pull this up and out of the way, and this tray is going to slide out, and it is massive. You could put a 90-liter refrigerator in here. Now, something that I noticed is I've used other trailers, you know, Black Series OBIs, very similar style trailers, and they have a little light in here like this. I turn the switch on and it turns the light on. So I have lighting in here. So if I had gear and storage in here, that would be great. But if I was using a fridge and I opened it, that light would do nothing for my fridge. So sometimes I'm out here with my phone, rummaging, looking through things because I can't see anything. But look what MDC does right here. They put a light right above your fridge. It's silly, but it's like really annoying when you own a trailer and it's made by people that never use their trailers, so they don't do little details like this. The owner of MDC, he actually goes and camps in these trailers, and he listens to the feedback from the customers, and this type of stuff happens. You see it coming into the trailers. Another thing I want to point out is you have these poles right here, and you also have some additional poles in the kitchen area. And what that is for a full annex on your trailer. So the awning comes out, and then you're able to actually install an entire annex that will cover this area, the entire kitchen, and it comes pretty far out around this kitchen. So this entire space is completely covered. You can have full walls that also are screens. You have a full floor, and it also attaches up to here. So you have a skirt, and so there's no wind that can blow through. And the cool thing about this is if you really wanted to get 16 people on your trip, you could easily throw 16 kids in this area, throw some pads or cots down, and then you could actually sleep 16 people in and out of this trailer. So let's head on over this way. I just want to point one last thing out, and these are types of details that you don't always see. Look at how this is corrugated. And then how you can see it's all screwed and these grommets are holding everything together. It's just so good. Like, you don't always see stuff like that. Usually when there's wiring and compartments on most trailers in America, they're just exposed wires and they don't do anything about it. Now, another attention to detail is they have this pre-trip 12-month inspection, tells you what you need to be doing during your ownership of your trailer. Another thing that MDC has made and designed are these triple seal gasket doors, and these things are really cool. So let me point this out. So we have a gasket right here, we have a gasket right here, and then we have an additional gasket right here. Now, this latch here, this is a cam lock, so when I actually turn it, you'll watch it and it will suck in. See how it sucks in? And so what that does is it just creates a really good seal when you shut this up. Seals in, and you're not going to have a lot of dust intrusion into the compartments. I've taken these off-road quite a bit, and I've never seen any dust intrusion. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but these seal really well. These cam latches, if you jump on Amazon, they cost like $30 or $40. And that's a detail because most standard travel trailers are using these butterfly latches that cost $2. And when you think about it, you have 4 just right here. So you're talking $160 in 4 latches versus $8. That's insane. And those are the types of things people are like, you know, why are these trailers more expensive? And it's like, well, when you add up all of the materials and the cost, the components, things are worth more. Of course, we have a spotlight up front, and then we have a storage compartment right here, and this is your annex material. You also have a light in here. I recently had a trailer that I took in on a trade, and this was an $80,000 trailer, and it had an outside compartment. This was an American fifth wheel called Crusader, and there were no lights in the compartments, which was like crazy. Like, how do you not have a light in an $80,000 trailer? That's crazy to me. But let me point out details in here. Look at this. See how they caulk this inside? And look up here. Look how they caulk up here. Look at this L bracket. This is metal. This is not a furring strip or a piece of wood. That is really cool. And then how they have this up here is carpeted. So that's just going to help with moisture, condensation, insulation, also things not banging around. Now this is your outside shower house, which let me show you where that will go. And hey, I mentioned there's a light and it's right below your compartment, which is where you would want a light if you were out here at night. Also, when you plug in your trailer, it is a 30 amp plug. Now, this is your Dometic furnace, so it does have an onboard heater. You have a city water connection as well as gravity water. But coming over to here, I mentioned the shower. So this is going to open up and this is going to give you hot and cold water. And up here, you can see this track, and this track allows for that shower room to be set up so you have an outside shower. This is a bunk model for family. Kids get dirty. Sometimes you don't want to go inside using the wet bath and dirtying it. You shower them out here on a nice sunny day like today. You could shower outside. And also you don't fill up your gray tanks. It just runs out on the ground, which is nice. This light also inside the shower, it has an open spot so you can take showers at night, which is pretty cool. Coming back over here, these are our bunks outside. And so each kid has a window on their bed. And then right here, we have the Truma AquaGo. This is your water heating system. It's on demand, which means you're able to turn it on. When you turn the hot water faucet on, it senses the pressure and immediately turns on and you start getting hot water at the spigot in a few seconds. The nice thing about this is it's continuous. You don't have a tank in this. So it's not like you're going to wait 45 minutes to an hour to get your tank heated up. And then when you run out, if you take a shower, when you run out of water, you have to wait for it to refill and heat up again. This is continuous and it's on demand. You could take a hot shower until you're out of water. And if you pulled to a campground and you were hooked up to city, you could take hot showers for as long as you want. Coming over to here, I want to point out this is a cassette system, and let me pull out the keys and show you how this works. This is actually one of my favorite types of systems for off-roading, and the reason why is it's very foolproof. There's not a lot of points to fail on this. The water system on this trailer is actually 42 gallons of fresh water, but you have an additional tank for your black water. So you open this up and you pour water into here, and it's about a 5 to 6 gallon reservoir that drops in here. So you actually can fill up your water, and that doesn't include your 42 gallons of fresh water that you're going to be drinking and showering in or doing your dishes. So this is going to be just for your toilet. Now, the cool thing about that, as you can see, I'm at a lake right now. So if I'm out using my toilet and I run out of water, I can literally go down there with a jug or jerry cans and I can fill it up, come and pour it into this tank, and I can keep on using my toilet and flushing. And I don't contaminate my drinking water or my shower water. Another cool thing about it is if you're going somewhere super cold and you're worried about water lines freezing, you could pour antifreeze into this. Then you could flush your toilet at potentially negative 50 degrees because that's what antifreeze generally goes down to. And if you wanted to dilute it, you could put half water, half antifreeze. If you've never seen these things are actually really cool. So you would kind of pull it out, drop it down, and then you'd pull this handle and you would wheel it to a pit toilet. So national forests, BLM, national parks, pit toilets are everywhere. Opposed to taking your trailer and sitting in line to a dump station, which generally they're going to charge you anywhere from $5 to, I've seen $20. It's crazy. This, I can go to a pit toilet, dump it for free, and I can keep on camping. I can stay off grid. I don't have to move my trailer. You can also buy additional one of these. The other cool thing is this is actually approved carry-on, so you can take it with you and put it over the overhead bin and your travels to wherever you might go. If you're not camping, you can bring camping with you.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
Now, the way it works when you actually dump it, you would pull it to a little dump spot. This guy just opens up here. There's a little cap, and then this right here opens it up and releases the pressure, and then you just dump it, and it's really easy. I'm a huge fan of these just because they're so convenient and they just allow more flexibility than most trailers out on the market. There's a lot of different options out there and we can always look at those things for you, but that is the outside. Let's head on over to the door These steps are manual. Now we've had trailers that have put these on motors. And at first I thought that was really cool until the motors, you know, dirt and debris and water always kicks up in there. And then the motors get fried or the gears get grinding on the dirt. And so this is a foolproof system. It's going to be much harder to have a failure on something like this. Now, this door right here is called an Aussie Traveler. And what makes it so unique is this is metal. This is aluminum. Trust me, you're not breaking inside that thing. This is Kangaroo-Proof. I don't know if it's bear-proof, but it's for sure Kangaroo-Proof. Dog-proof, cat-proof. You can leave your dogs in here on a nice day. You know, turn on your inside vent fan so you have a nice breeze going through here. And the cool thing is it locks. So you can actually lock this and leave and nobody can get in. This actually has 3 latching points. So you have one here, and one up here. So if I pull the lever on this, it's gonna latch shut. And the reason why this is so important, anybody who's ever owned a trailer and they've gone up a windy road, if they forget to deadbolt it, they just shut the door. A lot of times the doors pop open because there's twisting and bending. Now, because of the hitch system on this and that movement and the suspension, it's way less likely to happen. But with this 3 latching mechanism, it's pretty much impossible for this to come out. This is now latched here. Pretty cool. So, of course, you can then shut this back up and go inside. Welcome inside this trailer. It's beautiful. I love high gloss cabinetry. I just think it feels super modern and it just adds to the beauty of your trailer overall. Obviously, it's European and Australian design, and that to me is just, I don't know, I love it. It's definitely a way to wow your neighbors because it's so unique. Most trailers are using particle board wrapped with stickers. Now, this thing has a crazy amount of storage for such a small trailer. One of the things that I want to point out is these latches. You push these and then you twist and pull. So if you don't twist, it's actually locked in. And when you push that in, there's no way for this cabinet to fly open while you're driving. So you're going to push this, twist it, and open it up. You have your gas struts that hold this in place. Now look inside. Look at all the attention to detail, how they caulk everything. They put this behind here. They have a little cover to put some stuff in there. And it just keeps everything looks so nice. Like finishing looks so good. And then you drop this down and it has a soft close so it doesn't slam. Because guess what? Kids will just slam it if it didn't have that. Coming over here, we have more storage. This is above your table area. Now this table will drop down and it turns into a bed. So you have your cushion that comes out and goes onto this position area, and you can put a child on this bed. These beds right here are also perfect for children, and you have 2 of them. Now, if you're a couple and you don't have kids, you could potentially use this for storage. And of course, like I mentioned, you have your windows, and these windows are very cool. You do have the screen, and these screens are really fine, so bugs are gonna be not coming through these windows. And this is on each bunk. And then over here, you also have a 12-volt plug as well as USB plugs, so you can charge your devices. Also, there is an outlet, and all of these outlets can be set up to run off the inverter system. And of course, a reading light. Same thing down here. We have all the exact same features down here. You have your beautiful windows, and you can just enjoy the lake. Man, it's like an ocean out there. It's windy. And then all of these open as well. There's some components underneath this bed. Okay, I want to point out that there's an outlet under here, which is nice if you are working and you have a computer, you can be able to plug in right here. Right next to this outlet, you can see more details how MDC has the Caravan pre-tow checklist. So if you go down that whole checklist, you could even make your own checklist, but you could use this as your example. Put it in your phone, you can check it off before you go and drive away. This table actually has a bunch of functionality. This is really cool because if you do have a big family, I could sit over here at the table and somebody else could sit over there. You could play games, we could eat. And like I said, this thing just moves around. It does all kinds of different things, whatever you want. Now, the cool thing is if you come this way and you turn it this way, there's a storage right here and this comes out. And it's actually really deep. That's where you put all your card games or clothing, whatever you want right there. And then, of course, you can grab this table and move it back. And, you know, if you're really fat and you're sitting over there, you can bring it out. If you're skinny, you can bring it in. It also just gives you more ability to walk around and maneuver. Now, over here, we have our outlet for our heater. And above this heater, we have the main master bedroom area. This is a queen bed. It's a residential, so it's 60 by 80. Which means if you don't like the mattress that it comes with, you can add any mattress you want, or you can put a topper. And I've put my own personal mattress. We have a mattress that we love. We travel with it. We'll take it out and bring it in and sleep on the mattress that we love. Maybe that sounds snobbish to you, but in my opinion, the reason why you buy a camper is for a comfortable bed and a bathroom. Like, really think about it. If you didn't care about your bed or your bathroom, you can go do your duty in the woods and sleep in a tent on the ground. And so what drives me crazy is when manufacturers put these funky beds in their trailers where it's an RV queen or an RV king. And it's like, there's no mattress out on the market that actually fits the space except for what they give you. And that's really frustrating because if you have a mattress of preference, like some people love purple mattresses or Tempur-Pedics or whatever it is, a Sleep Number, you can put your mattress in here. And to me, that's a detail that is important. Also, we have a TV, and I think this is a fantastic placement of a TV because the kids can be on the bunks, playing around, watching TV. You can be laying in bed. Everybody can be watching together. If it's raining and it's cold out, this really comes in handy for the kids. Also, above here, we have an outlet. If you didn't like this TV, you wanted to upgrade to a larger TV, you know, maybe you want a 32-inch TV, smart, Apple, whatever it is, you can have your plug that you can be able to plug it into and be able to enjoy your personalization. Also here at ROA, we do stuff like that all the time. We really believe that making the trailer unique for you is really important. So if you want a bigger TV, if you want a bigger inverter, you want bigger battery system, you want to run the AC off grid, all of those things are possible here at ROA. All you have to do is ask and pay for it, of course. So there you have it. Now these Sirocco fans are very cool. They have lots of maneuverability. You can cool the ceiling off. You can cool the TV off. You can cool yourself off in bed. Whatever you want to do. It's a variable fan speed. You have 3 different speeds, and it also has a timer. And on full speed, they're relatively quiet. So it's a nice little feature. Love these fans. We install these in other trailers all the time just as an upgrade for people. Now, moving from the fans to here, this is a Skylight. There's your lights. And then, I mean, those are lights, but there's also sky that gives you light. That's why it's called a Skylight, because the light comes from the sky. But you also have lights in the Skylight, which is cool. You have a screen right there, and then you have blackout. So while you're sleeping, the sun's not shining on, because you don't want light coming from the sky while you sleep. That's annoying. Now, this port, it opens up, and it allows you to escape in the event of a situation where you would want to escape. On those rare occasions, if your significant other, you know, there's a methane leak out of them and you need to escape out through the roof, that's what this is really designed for. You could also get up there, look at your solar panels, you could wipe them off, you can get on your roof. I don't know what you want to do with this place. It also has a setting where you can bring it down and lock it in this position, which means it's cracked and you're getting some airflow at night, but it's not all the way shut. The cool thing about the Australian industry in general is in the United States, you have the RV industry, and everything is specifically made for RVs a lot of times in the industry. Usually if it's made for RVs, it's cheap and cheap and cheap and expensive. The cheap wasn't referring to the cost, like the cheap was the quality. 3 cheaps, not good quality, not good quality, not good quality, and is really expensive because it's unique to RVs. A lot of the stuff that comes out of the Australian market, the Australian design, is actually marine grade. A lot of the things that you're going to see, like these latches, like the first time I ever saw these latches, I'm like, where do they get these latches? I couldn't find them in any of our RV catalogs. And we're looking online, and this is actually a marine latch for boats, right? Because when you think about a boat, it's constantly jostling around in the waves. And so everything has to lock. Same thing with this. We were looking for one of these ports, and I looked in like every RV catalog to get a replacement on one of these because one of our customers left it open and started driving away and it broke. And so unfortunately, that's not a warranty item. And he's like, I'll just buy it. And we were at the time working with Black Series, and well, Black Series never supplied any parts and we couldn't buy things from them. So we were kind of like left on an island by ourselves to fend. So I'm looking everywhere to try to find this, and I find it on a marine website because it's designed for yachts, which is really cool. And those are the details you just don't see in the US with a lot of RVs. I also love this padding, this back wall. It's good for insulation, but it's also like you lean up against that at night. It's not right up against the wall. Another reading light. And then over here we have another Sirocco fan. And then these are our storage areas, his and hers. I actually feel like a family of 4 fits quite nicely in this. Me and my wife use these for our clothing. Now, if you don't want to escape through the top hatch from your significant other, you can also exit through this window. This is what the red is. It's for emergencies to escape. Now, these windows are really cool, and I'll show you why. They have a few different settings. Besides that they're dual pane windows, they have a few different positions. So right there, that's position number 1. And then you have position number 2. And then you can go all the way up. And this creates great airflow. You can see this, just like it's actually cold. I can feel the wind blowing through here. Now you can bring this all the way back down, and you have another 2 settings. So you can go into this little crack. I don't know if you can hear the wind gusting through this little crack. At night, you want to reduce maybe condensation or have some airflow. You can have this cracked open. Also, you can lock the window with it cracked open. When it's out, you can't lock it, obviously. But if you want to completely close this, then you bring it in past this slot and go all the way. And now you can hear it silent. And I've never seen dust getting through these windows. They seal very, very well. You have a nice built-in integrated ladder right here. I actually like that they put all these cutouts throughout. One of the reasons why is it kind of makes it feel more open, but it also is going to reduce the weight. And you can also tell the kids, you can talk to the kids while they're laying down there. Coming down here, I'm going to head to the back and show you more storage and the fridge and bathroom. Okay. First of all, this fridge placement is awesome because, as you can imagine, if you're outside cooking, the annex is out and you have a whole nother house out there. You open this up. Oh, there's a latch down here. So you got to unlatch it, and that just makes it super secure so it can never open while you're driving. And now when you open it up, of course, you have this massive fridge. Now I can access everything in here from inside just fine. And this is a freezer. But the nice thing is if I'm outside and I'm coming in, I can just come in right here and open the door and grab my food and take it outside while I'm cooking. Just a really cool placement. I see so many trailers where the fridge is on the opposite side of the trailer. So you walk in the door and you have to walk through the whole trailer to get to your fridge, which is just kind of a silly setup. Now, closing this up, we have a bunch of switches down here. These are mostly for your exterior lights down here. And then this is for your awning outside. Moving above here, we have a extremely deep storage area. I can't even reach to the end. And then coming over here, we have a storage area right here, as well as all your controls for your water heater, your water pump. You have your water gauges. And then this is the BM Pro. Now, we've had some people kind of complain about the BM Pro. It's actually a good system. It works, and if it doesn't work, we know how to work it. Sometimes it's user error and people don't always understand. But a lot of people have asked for upgrading the BM Pro, and we actually have a full Victron system, and it's actually really cool. And I actually think we should break away and go talk about that Victron system for a second, because we've done this for a bunch of MDC owners and they have loved it. So we're going to jump over to Rick, and I'm going to show you that Victron system.
All right, now we're inside the trailer and we're going to go over the Victron display. So on the home screen right now, this is monitoring your battery levels. You can see the battery is at 100%. This is your freshwater tank. You can see it's 37%. Your wastewater is empty. And then we're using sonar sensors on the propane tanks. And this shows that one of them's basically empty, but the other one's at 18%. And then if we come here, just more information on what's going on with the trailer as far as your charging system goes. If we go to an overview here, we're hooked up to shore power. Absorption charging is just maintaining the battery at 100%. You can see down here, your battery volts are at 14 and your amps are 0.6. and watts are 9. Again, just a little more detail on on what's going on with the charging system. This is a cool little system. We're using a ROA sensor, and this just gives you information on the temperature inside the trailer and what the humidity level is. We click over here to the tanks. This chart here tells you your freshwater tank, your rear tank. This is your gray water tank, and then these are your propane tanks. The nice thing about this is you can set notifications on these. So when your freshwater gets below 20%, it'll give you a notification that it's time to refill your water. As far as your gray water goes, you can set it where once you're at 90%, it'll send you a notification that it's time to empty. And with the propane tanks, you can set it where if one tank is empty and you're working on the other one, once it gets below 30%, it'll also send you a notification that it's time to refill your tanks. And here's the notification screen. So whatever notifications you have set up, this is where you'll check them. If you're hooked up to 120, it allows you to manage this where you aren't getting more than 15 amps at a time, so you don't blow any fuses. This gives you your inverter. So this allows you to turn your inverter on, move it to charge only, to inverter only, or you can turn it completely off. So let's turn it off. So now you can see that the inverter's off. We're not getting anything in from shore power. It says disconnected. We're still not getting any solar. But the cool thing about it is down here under the 100%, based on what we're using in the trailer right now with what we have turned on, this shows that we can run where we are right now for 9 days and 23 hours. One of the biggest questions that customers have is, how do I know how long I have on with battery life? This gives it to you right down to the days and hours. You can actually add your phone to it as well, download an app, and you can monitor the whole system. The display will be just like it is here, but on your phone. So if you're in Texas and your trailer's in Utah and you see that the temperature's getting really hot and you want to just turn the AC on for a little bit, you can do that. So it allows you to control the trailer even when you're not by the trailer. Another benefit is our tech support can actually connect to the Victron, and if you're having problems with your trailer with electrical or something like that, our tech support can pull up your trailer, kind of see what's going on with the system and help troubleshoot it over the phone, so maybe you don't have to bring it in for service. So all of these functions are available to anyone on really any trailer we can set this up on, and if you have any questions about it, you can always reach out to your sales coach or reach out to the service departments and we can answer whatever questions you have there. It's a really robust system that we installed here, but we really just scratched the surface with what you can add. It's limitless on what you can do with this system.
Welcome back, everyone. It's just such a cool system. Let's turn that stuff off. We can also upgrade your inverter system, your air conditioner, and your battery bank to be able to run completely off grid. And like I mentioned earlier, these trailers, we do have a limited amount of them. They also are a bargain for an MDC product, because MDC products they're just really well built. So if you do want to get into something, but maybe you want to have those upgrades, maybe that will allow in your budget. Come in here, let's open this up. This is a massive closet for hanging your clothing. And then you have these shelves right here, tons of shelf space. And inside here, oh, look at that. There's actually a 16 family brochure sold by ROA Off-Road. If you actually want more information, if I don't go over everything today, you can go in the link below and you can download this brochure, and it will give you tons and tons of specs and lots of information. If I've missed anything, you can go and click that link and get this brochure. Let's close that up and go down to the next one. These are huge, huge cupboards. And see, my thought is if you have 3 kids, you have 3 drawers. Each kid has their own. And then mom and dad get all the rest of the space. Now, the last part and the most important part. Well, let's go into the bathroom. First of all, I want to point out the ceilings are quite high in here. I am 6 feet and I'm nowhere near hitting the roof. You got over 6'5" ceilings in here, and you have a light. This is also duals as a fan, so you can open it up and it can pull air in or it can pull air out. So it has a reversible fan. Now this is a wet bath. And what that means is it's integrated into your shower, your toilet, and everything in here. My wife personally loves these because she's like always, she's a clean freak. So it's really nice. As soon as you're done showering, you can clean the entire bathroom. You have your hot and cold sink right here with a little bit of shelf. You have a mirror. I cannot tell you, it drives me crazy when I get in a trailer and there's no mirror, because like, why would you not have a mirror? You want to be able to get ready in the morning and have a mirror. Of course, we have a toilet. This is one of the #1 reasons why you buy a trailer, is for the toilet. This is the Thetford, same as your stovetop. So great company out of the UK. And then back here, of course, you have some space to put your soap. And this is a little soap dish. And this thing is adjustable. It moves up and down. So you can see that if you're really short, if you're really tall, you can also pull it off, and it's a wand, and you can get every part of your body clean and hopefully not smelly. Now, coming down here, we have a nice shower pan area, and it's all molded in here. And then over here, we have some little shelf spaces. And look at this. Do you see how this is a gasket? How they actually have a seal. We've sold trailers with wet baths that don't do stuff like that. And so all the water gets in there. Now this is like, obviously there's plumbing in here, but you could also put stuff in there. Like, right? You could like slide some soap, extra things that you might need. I squeeze my toilet paper, my extra toilet paper in there. But if you don't have these seals or this gasket, the water will get in there and make everything wet. That's a little detail that MDC, they pay attention to those types of details. I know I say details a lot. The things that make your experience nice are the details. Now, I do something in every single video. It's called the soap drop test, because whenever you're taking a shower, it's really important that if you drop the soap, you can pick it up again. I don't have soap right here, but the guys are really good at After Effects. So this is going to be my soap bar soap, and I'm going to drop it. And then I'm going to pick it up. I mean, I can easily pick it. Like, there's tons of space in the shower. Like, easy. Soap drop test. And when you do drop the soap, put it where it's supposed to go, which is in that little soap tray right there. There you have it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more, once again, go down, click the link, get the brochure. If you want to come see this trailer, we have this trailer at every single store: Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and South Carolina. So if you want to come, put your hands on one of these units, you can see it, touch it, feel it. We do have the 2 different versions. We have the previous year model, and then we have the 15-year anniversary. There are some nuances and differences to them. Some of the electrical components are different. Some of the appliances are different. The value of this trailer is so good right now that if you do want to buy one, you can easily upgrade those components down the road. We can do upgrades now officially in South Carolina, Utah, and Colorado. So coming soon to Arizona, so stay tuned for that. But if you have any questions, please make comments below. You want to learn more about our other trailers, go to our website, check it out. It's ROAOffroad.com or RVsofAmerica.com. And if this video brings any value to you, please like and share or subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to our channel. And we're always releasing videos like this, trying to every single week. So see ya next weekend. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. You know, if you're sleeping next to your significant other and you know, have a methane gas leak out of gosh dang it, you guys, this is your fault. Yeah.